So, what are some of the tools that you might use in your local concierge business? Some of these things were things I had no idea about when I started my business. And today I'm going to give you an inside look on four of my favorite tools that we use each and every week inside my business that you're going to want to become aware of. Hey there, my friends. This is Kelly Schaefer, the creator of the Concierge Academy and also the author of The Concierge Life. And as a matter of fact, if you do not have my book yet and you've been following this channel, I'm going to put a link right below in the description of this video where you can get a copy of my book, and with it we will also give you additional resources, videos, and trainings on how to get your business up and running. Okay, my friends, so what are four of the tools that I cannot live without that I didn't have any concept of when I started my business? So just so we all understand, when I started my business, it was back in 2010, and I went from healthcare, working as a registered nurse, left the hospital setting to start a business. When I started my business, I knew nothing of business. I knew nothing of tools and online tools. I didn't even know what Excel was. I'm not even lying. I didn't know what Excel was. I barely knew what Word was because when I went to college, I was still typing on a typewriter. Yes. Where are my typewriter fans at? And word processors. That was the big thing back then. So when I started my business, I knew nothing, especially of technology. And I am what you would call tech challenged. But that was actually a mindset shift that I made several years ago. And I said, I can learn anything. So even if you feel like you are technologically challenged, change your mindset and just tell yourself, I can learn anything. And the cool thing is, you don't have to learn all of it. So I'm going to share with you the top tools that I use that you might want to consider using as you start to grow your business. So I already wrote them all down here for you. The first one right away, and if you have not seen my video before on the number one tax write-off you might have as a personal concierge, it has to do with mileage and tracking your mileage. You definitely want to have a mile tracking app. It's an app, you can stick it on your phone. There are dozens of them out there so that you can track your mileage, because that becomes a business expense on your taxes as a write-off when you have a legitimate business. So the one that I recommend and use is Mile IQ. There are dozens of others out there, but find one that works with you, and that you know how to you can figure out. Because honestly, the only way you'll use it is if it's easy for you to use. So when I have to try a new piece of technology or tech, I will usually narrow it down to only looking at two, and then I spend 20 minutes looking at both, and then at the end of those 20 minutes I just decide, because otherwise, this is a ninja strategy, my friends, otherwise you will stay in indecision. Do I want this or this? You could stay in indecision for months. Don't do that to yourself. You're wasting valuable, precious time growing your business, because that is actually not going to be the things that make you money. So if you are making a decision on something, just set a timer. Be like, at the end of this 20 minutes, I'm just going to make my decision. But the one that I recommend and I have used for years is Mile IQ. The second thing that and I know nothing about this, was Google Drive. So Google Drive comes with a Gmail. If you use Gmail, you already have access to Google Drive. And what I love about Google Drive is it allows me to put certain like documents or notes or things inside the folders, if you will, so that I can access them. And when you start to grow a team, this really becomes super valuable, because you can give your team the same link to access, like, let's say, that folder. Okay, so start early using Google Drive. I was a little bit of a late adopter with that because, again, I really didn't love technology. And I found it like, oh, I don't know how to use it. But I just started to commit like a little bit of time. Like, I'm just going to create one folder and create one document inside Google Drive. Don't make it so overwhelming for yourself. But I use Google Drive each and every day of my business. The third thing is QuickBooks. This is how we do invoicing. This is where I track all of our business expenses. And when I when I first started my business, I did not have QuickBooks. When I first started, I think the first 6 months, I was tracking things just on an Excel spreadsheet. Again, I didn't even know what Excel was. I just learned how to put like expense, what it was, expense, what it was, expense, what it was. And then I did the same for clients as well. You know, this was invoice, invoice, invoice. Because online you can find lots of places where you can get like invoice software, you can download invoicing templates, and that's really easy to use. But you want to have an easy way to track all of this, especially as you start to grow, because it helps just streamline everything when it comes to tax time. And the bigger you get, the more clients you have, the more expenses you have and start creating. You really want to have a software that is going to do all of the heavy lifting for you when it comes to your accounting. Now, I will tell you that I started my business using QuickBooks. Well, I started using an Excel spreadsheet. Then I converted and went to QuickBooks, and I learned how to use QuickBooks. Then from there, I had hired a bookkeeper, and the bookkeeper I hired recommended a different software. So I left QuickBooks, I went to this other software. It was easy for her to use, but it was not as user intuitive to me. So I ended up being locked into another invoicing software and accounting software that I didn't know how to use and was it was just harder for me to navigate. And so I ended up leaving that bookkeeper, honestly, over time because the relationship fell apart. And when that happened, I was no longer in the software that she pulled me to. And then I went to another one because I worked with another bookkeeper who recommended a different software. So then we started using that software for a long time. The same thing happened. That other software seemed overly cumbersome and difficult for me to figure out. So then I had just made a decision for myself that this was the one that I knew how to use. So in the event that my bookkeeper or accountant or anybody didn't have were not available and I needed to do something, I wanted to have a software that I felt comfortable using. And so I reverted back to QuickBooks, and I keep saying, I swear till the end of time, while I have a business, I will not leave QuickBooks ever again. So I highly recommend you using QuickBooks. And the fourth thing, now this came much later on in my business because, again, I didn't have someone like me telling me about all these things in the beginning, and I was learning over time on the fly, learning from other business owners how they were using tools in their businesses. Even if they weren't in the concierge industry, I was learning from other people. Oh, you use this, you use that. How can I see if those will work in my business to streamline things in my own company? And so this is a longer term that I did not use for the first few years. But once I did, it completely transformed everything for me. And that is a document signing software. So what had happened was, this was several years ago, and I was in the process of buying our home, the home that we're in now, and the realtor needed us to sign the agreement of sale. And she sent us this agreement of sale, and it was in a PDF form, and we just had to click the buttons on our cell phone, literally on our cell phone, to sign the documents. And she got them, and then we got a copy of them. And I was like, this is magical. So literally at lunch, my husband and I were sitting at lunch together. I'll never forget, because we had sent in like our final, like these are our final, agreement that to sale for the house. And while we were there at lunch, she had finished the document. She sent the document to us through this document signing software. We signed it right there at lunch. Didn't have to go into her office. She didn't have to leave her office. Boom, boom, done. And it also saves on so much paperwork and so much paper. So as you begin to grow, consider getting a document signing software that when you onboard a new client, and let's say you're having them sign a contract or a credit card authorization form, you will just send it to them electronically. They can sign it electronically. You get it back, and you can literally go and have this contract signed within minutes instead of waiting to, meet your client at their home. Or honestly, when I first did it, I would print these out and I would old fashioned snail mail them to my client's house, waiting for them to sign them and mailing them back to me. And so, as you can see, having a document signing software makes things go so much faster. So, my friends, as you are continuing to grow, now in the very beginning, let me just say, in the very beginning, you don't need any of this. You do want to get this though. Okay, you definitely want to get a mile tracking app. But you don't have to have any of this, and you don't need any of this to actually get clients. Don't make these things be a distraction from you getting clients. But once you start getting clients, you need to simplify and reclaim time that you're spending doing other things. And these are 4 ways that you can reclaim your own time so that you can go out and get more clients and make a bigger impact in your community, my friends. All right, my friends, if this video was helpful, please hit that like button, hit up the subscribe bell, and don't forget that if you need a copy of my book, The Concierge Life, I'm going to drop a link for that right below in the description section of this video. All right, my friends, bye for now.